Okay, in this section we're going to cover the top container. If we look at the HTML, we're going to cover the CSS for the top container, as well as the showcase, which is included in top container. And we will get into the top box. Here, we'll write some CSS for the top box. And we will stop just before we hit the boxes. So basically we're going to put the CSS for this top container. So let's start the top container. Display grid. Add a grid gap. And we will add some grid template areas to be used later. It helps to put them visually where you can see kind of how they'd be laid out. So our first row, 2 sections would be the showcase. The third section would be top box A. Then on the next row, showcase and top box B. So this is going to be a 2-row, and in the first 2 columns it's going to be the showcase. And then we have 2 boxes on the right bar, basically on the right column. Throw a semicolon at the end of that. So now if we target our showcase, we give it a grid area, basically tell it where to go. Minimum height. Background image. So we'll type out a URL here. Make sure I don't have any typos. I will test it here in just a second. Cover, center, add some padding. Now it's interesting here because we were also telling this to display flex, so we're using some flex box in here inside of an individual grid area. Keeping in mind that grid layout can work with flex box and obviously vice versa. Giving it a box shadow. Okay, now you're not going to see necessarily this completed, but let's take a look at what it looks like at the moment. So you do see that our background image takes up roughly 2 columns. We've got some CSS to style this. Again, our showcase in the HTML is the header. So that's where you're getting your markup from. And so let's inspect it. You could see, when you inspect it, you could see the grid layout. Currently the showcase is taking up 2 columns. That third column over there, we have to style that yet. If you get rid of the minimum height, that image gets crunched. The background image does its job. The cover makes it zoom out, so you see the full image, covering the whole image. Center helps get that image in the middle of the space for it to show. Adding some padding. That's really for the content inside. Notice how the padding changes the content. Display flex helps us position our content more in the center vertically. So that display flex helps us center vertically in that image. Box shadow is a little hard to see, but it is there. If you pay close attention, you can see that. And aligning items to the start tells this button not to stretch all the way, which is the default on the cross axis for our flexbox. So those are the different rules for the showcase. Now the easy part here is just the H1 inside of the showcase. Make it bigger. Get rid of some margin. Got typo showcase. There we go. And the paragraph. Some basic styling there. Okay, so we're looking good. Now we're going to style the top box A and the top box B. Okay, the top box itself is both of these boxes. So both the boxes, we're applying a background color. Doing some alignment with the content, horizontally and vertically. Applying a box shadow. Okay, let's see what that does for us. Okay, so now both our top boxes have some styling applied to them. So background color, display grid, again that just helps the positioning with align items and justify items. So without display grid, we're not getting our horizontal and our vertical centering, and some padding. So if we uncheck all of these, it goes back to here. Background color, padding, grid for the alignment, and box shadow helps there. Alright, some text. So the price, class inside of top box. Both of them. Increase the font size. Here, the top box A, we'll give it a grid area. So that particular cell will go in top box A, which we defined right here. And as you could probably guess, top box B, grid area, even though they kind of default to that area, this is more explicitly putting it there. And you'll see it actually then proportionally, it's a little bit more proportional, 2 parts to 1 part. And of course, being the grid, we're going to get a responsive up to a point. And at that point, we'll use some breakpoints, some CSS media queries to move content around. So we covered that area, the showcase, the top container in this video. So we'll stop this video here and pick up with the next section in the next video.